He was laid out on a bathroom floor in a cheap motel off the interstate. Yellow light buzzed like a dying wasp, cold tide kissing his skin like fate. He sold his soul to a rusted needle, not for kicks, but to drown the past. Every vein was a crooked church, every hit was a crooked mass. There was blood on the rim of the sink, old scars on the back of his hand. He mumbled, Lord, if you're watching this, you're seeing the worst of what I am. His heartbeat slipped like a back clutch grind, death tapped slow on the other side. But deep in the dark of his hollow chest, something mean refused to die. He growled, if you wanna take me, you better swing, don't beg or plead. You ain't dragging me quiet like some dog brought to its knees. That night he buried his addiction, but he didn't stay in that hole. He dug himself out with shaking hands and a half-broke hard-head soul. 3 months later he faced that mirror, cheekbones sharp, eyes sunk down low. Still looked like a ghost in a worn-out frame, but his hands had stopped their trembling cold. He took the last bag, last bent spoon, set them all in a metal pan. Struck one match and watched that poison curdle smoke like a dying plant. Then he pulled up his shirt in the neon, ink fresh on his busted ribs. Letters black like midnight hymns, I survived the war no one saw. Scarred scripture on his skin. He laughed once, rough and bitter, said, hell, I ain't clean by luck. I walked out that grave by crawling when the devil thought I was stuck. Now every scar reads like a prayer that learned to stand instead of kneel. He ain't holy, he ain't gentle, but he's proof a man can heal. He once said, if you wanna take him, you better swing, don't whisper soft. He ain't leaving this world quiet, you want his soul, you pay the cost. That girl buried his addiction, but he never buried his will. He walked out of that silent war with shaky legs and iron steel. He ain't some saint in a white-walled church, he's a sinner that chose to fight. A lonely kid the world wrote off, now walking forward in cold, clean light. Winter night, past midnight, wind hissing through the broken boards. My old man drank that whiskey like vengeance poured from the Lord. I grew up hearing curses more than hymns or lullabies, and every glass he shattered taught me how to kill the light inside. I stood there holding breath, hands shaking, but my heart said enough. Now the ghost of me is gone. I said my silence ain't fear, it's a line in the sand. I ain't carrying your anger, I ain't wearing your brand. I ain't the boy you break like bottles on the floor. Hell, I'm the man who walks out and burns the bridge no more. I left with nothing but breathing, a cracked cross and a photograph. My mother tried to love him, but love alone don't stop the aftermath. A year passed, the scars settled, but they never healed clean. I came back through that doorway and he asked me soft, you hate me? I touched that cross on my chest and whispered back like a bullet that finally found its mark. Now the ghost of you is gone. I said my They told me a boy should forgive and forget. They said blood is the price you can never reset. But the dust in this town, it remembers the pain. And I won't wear the coat of a ghost in the rain. I swore on the pavement I'll never go numb. Now listen to the sound of the reckoning drum. My silence ain't fear, it's a boundary, not a wound. A man ain't chained to the shadows that raised him in gloom. I ain't the boy built from violence and war. I'm the one who broke the cycle's jaw, and I ain't coming back no more. No one believed in me, not family, not friends, not a single damn soul. The world watched like a bored bartender, waiting to see if I break or fall. I worked in quiet rooms with flickering lights, hands cut, jaw clenched, breath tight. I failed, stood, failed again like a hammer hitting the same steel. Night after night I learned silence ain't empty. It's the pavement where a man meets his scars. He leaves with eyes cold and teeth sharp. And I whisper to myself, stand your ground. Pain's just the toll for becoming something real. So hear me now. I didn't rise to be seen. I rose so no one could ever put me down again. I ain't chasing applause. I ain't kneeling down for a witness or a friend. I build myself with grit and fire, with ash in my lungs and dirt in my veins. And every fall carves another blade. I'm not dead. In my One night, sitting alone with the whiskey and the crack Bible, I finally knew the truth, burning slow. No one's coming to save you, and that cold fact is the only seed I need to grow. I burned old letters, buried memories no shovel should ever touch. I carved a promise into my ribs with a cold blade. Strength ain't given, it's earned when life gets rough. The wind outside howled like a hungry wolf, but inside my heart beat finally steady. For the first time in my entire life, I wasn't scared, I was ready. I muttered again, low and slow, stand your ground. If the world won't believe in you, make it regret that choice. So hear this truth. I didn't rise to impress, I rose to survive, to endure, to exist. without permission. I ain't the noise, I'm the storm. A silent man who took the wheel. Yeah, I build myself in silence, and the silence should be clean. Not holy, not perfect, just unbreakable, cold as steel. And finally see, met her in a bar lit yellow, like a tired street lamp dream, where folks don't drink to celebrate, they drink to scrub memory clean. She didn't ask where I came from or why my eyes look rusted shut. She just stared through me and said, don't give me promises, give me truth that cuts. I laughed, that broken kind of laugh only men stitched from war wounds know. She watched me like a wolf watches a trap, ready to bleed, ready to grow. And something inside me whispered, careful, people like her don't ask for hearts, they ask for souls. But hell, I gave her fire anyway. Wild love, rough edges, gasoline and grace. We kissed like bruises and fought like prayers, spilling sins all over the place. Yeah, she carved my name in darkness, and I clawed hers into bone. 'Cause sometimes love ain't heaven, sometimes love's the war you call home. Some nights we tore into each other like wolves with old grudges to settle. Words sharp as razors, silence heavier than steel plates strapped to metal. She once whispered, can you love me without making me bleed? I touched her cheek, not tender, not cruel, just real. And I told her plain, I ain't a good man, but I'm loyal to what I choose. She didn't smile, she just nodded and stayed like a wound that refused to bruise. And I thought maybe some devils ain't here to break us, maybe they're here so we finally stop pretending we're saints. So yeah, I gave her fire and she gave me scars, and neither one of us ran. We weren't fixing each other, we were forging ourselves with bare, bloody hands. We love like rust loves iron, destroying slow, but making something unbreakable. before I met her. Loving someone felt like handing them the knife and turning my back, hoping they didn't twist it too deep this time. I built walls out of scars, stacked them high with distrust and dust. I told myself I didn't need nobody, hell, I only trusted silence and rust. But she didn't try to break the doors, she just waited outside them like time didn't say don't be scared. She just looked at me and said I understand. And damn, that hit harder than any goodbye ever did. She didn't love me loud, she loved me steady, like fire that burns slow but melts steel clean. And for the first time in my whole damn life, I wasn't running, I was finally ready. It wasn't roses, it was ash, dirt, blood, and patience we fought for on both knees. She didn't love me the way others wanted, she loved me the way I needed. I shook like a sinner, remembering old wounds that never healed right. She didn't panic, didn't preach, she just placed her hand on my wrist, like she was holding me above the floodline. One night I whispered, why didn't you leave like everyone else? She looked me dead in the eyes, no flinch, no doubt, and she said, because I don't love you how they loved you, I love you how you survived. Something in me, something I thought had died long ago, finally breathe. Maybe love ain't easy ground, maybe real love's the steel under calloused hands. Yeah, she didn't love me loud, she loved me steady, like wild, controlled by purpose, not chaos or envy. And for the first time in my whole damn life, I didn't run, I rose ready. No roses, just ash, dirt, blood, and a truth sharp enough to bleed. She didn't save me, she made me wanna save myself. And now I carry that like scripture, written not in ink, but in scars that finally mean something. She didn't love me perfect,